Before this video begins, if I'm looking up there, it's because my script's up there. I was originally going to do my first video on my top 5 favorite musicals, but I realized that not really a lot of people talk about straight plays in the theater community on YouTube, so I decided I was going to shine a spotlight on my top 5 favorite plays instead. To make introductions super quick, my name is Chelsea. I'm a musical theater major with extensive training in Shakespeare and classical music, and I'm so grateful that you all decided to click on my video today. And without further ado, here are my top 5 favorite plays. Number 5, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead by Tom Stoppard. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead is at its core a retelling of Hamlet through the eyes of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, but in a way it's just so much more than that. It's a comedic play that is actually really funny. I find it fascinating that Stoppard decided to use 2 of the blandest characters in Hamlet and gave them each their own intricate, different personalities and created witty, intelligent, and endearing dialogue between the 2 of them. One of my favorite parts about the play is actually the opening scene. They're having a coin toss, and it just escalates into this extremely philosophical conversation. I could talk about this play for a solid hour, but I'm not going to do that in this video because there's still 4 more plays I need to get to. If you're interested in it, but you don't want to actually read the play, there is a film version that's actually very well made. Number 4. Failure, a Love Story by Philip Dawkins. Failure is the most recently written play on my list, and it is such a hidden gem. I don't think this play has been produced even off Broadway, but it really should be because it's incredible. What I'm about to tell you guys isn't a spoiler because it's literally revealed in the first minute in the play. The story takes place in the late 1920s, and it follows a man who falls in love with the 3 Fail sisters, and they all die in reverse order. So the youngest dies first, and the eldest dies last. Despite this dark, tragic plot, the play is quite lighthearted and whimsical, and it has an element of magical realism to it, and it really makes you feel like you are actually in the 1920s. The best way I can describe it is, you know that feeling you get when you're watching like a very old movie, even a silent film for me, it just transports you back in time. That's how this play makes you feel. You're just in that time period. And for a couple of hours you can totally forget your troubles and just immerse yourself completely into this play. Dawkins' writing and dialogue in this play are extremely reminiscent of classic films, which also really adds to the gorgeous atmosphere and mood of this play. And he actually incorporates music from the 1920s, such as Let Me Call You Sweetheart, into the play. So it's not quite a musical, but if you really like musicals, you will gravitate to this play more than just something without any music at all. Failure is one of those plays that leaves you completely empty and inspired at the same time. If anybody has watched Life is Beautiful, that's kind of the same feeling it leaves you with. Even if the play isn't playing near you, and I know smaller plays don't often play a lot, you definitely check out the script because just reading it is magical, really. That's the only way I can describe this play, magical. Number 3, Pygmalion by George Bernard Shaw. Pygmalion is actually what My Fair Lady is based off of, and I much prefer the play ending to the musical ending. I actually had the incredible experience of getting to play Eliza in a production of Pygmalion a few years ago, and getting to play her taught me so much more about this play. What I really love about this play are that its characters are memorable, and the incredible role reversal at the very end of this play is probably one of the greatest moments in play history, in my opinion. Watching Eliza transform herself from this poor Cockney girl to somebody who can finally stand up for herself is so inspiring, and getting to live that moment is breathtaking. I don't really have any words for it. I remember being on stage at that moment and realizing, oh my god, Eliza has been treated so poorly by Higgins, and when she finally frees herself from him, it is just a breath of fresh air. It's an inspirational moment in the play, and it's one that is not forgotten, and I don't know why they changed the ending in My Fair Lady, but Pygmalion is truly a play that was ahead of its time, and its themes are just as relevant today as they were 100 years ago. Number 2, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof by Tennessee Williams. Cat is considered by many Tennessee Williams' best work, and I completely agree. Cat follows Maggie and her husband Brick and the many problems they face in their marriage. The play deals with topics such as repressed homosexuality, death, denial, money, and a plethora of other issues. And you'd think that with all of these issues, the play would be very dark. It would follow something along the lines of Long Day's Journey into Night, which is one of the darkest plays I've ever read. Cat is dark, but it's also extremely humorous because Williams just has this gift of creating poetic language that seems extremely commonplace in the world of his plays, and he injects humor in even the darkest of moments, which really, in my opinion, makes the audience feel a little more comfortable than just watching a play where everything's sad and dark and heavy. Cat is incredible. If you haven't checked it out, there's a ton of productions of it on YouTube. There are PDFs of the play online. Before I get to number 1, I would like to quickly mention a few honorable mentions that would have made it if this was a top 10 list. Piano Lesson by August Wilson is my personal favorite August Wilson play from all of the ones I've read. I think you should definitely check out all of his canon, but Piano Lesson sticks out to me. I'm going to butcher this name because I always do. Ball by Bertolt Brecht. If you couldn't tell by my username, I love Bertolt Brecht, and I think his works are genius. They come out of that Expressionism era, which I absolutely adore. I've taken several courses on that alone, so... And The Glass Menagerie by Tennessee Williams, which is a beautiful play. And now for my number 1 pick. Hamlet by William Shakespeare. I mean, I put Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead on here, so Hamlet was bound to show up. Hamlet, for me, is one of those plays that I could read over and over and over again, and I could find new discoveries about it every time. And I actually had the chance to play Ophelia in a production, and I discovered so much more about this play. I remember studying it in high school and was like, yeah, I like this play, but it never really stuck out to me until I got to be a part of the play, and I was like, whoa. This is a classic revenge tale with grave consequences for basically everybody in the play. If they don't end up dead, they end up sad. The characters also are extremely well written, and they're enjoyable, and a lot of them are also extremely funny. I know the language in Shakespeare really detracts certain people away from it, and that's okay because it is very heavy to get through. But no fear, Shakespeare has the entire play online for free with a modern translation. And there's also plenty of film adaptations in different languages. And those are my top 5 favorite plays. Let me know down in the comments below what your favorite play is. I'd love to read some new plays. I need contemporary play monologues. So if anybody has some suggestions for that, that would be really cool. And please feel free to subscribe and follow me on my Instagram at PollyPeachums with 2 U's. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to see you next week in my new video.